Welcome to In the Cut, the show that gets you up close and personal with BN and our community. Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, everyone. Welcome to In the Cut, the show that gets you up close and personal with Black non-believers and our community. My name is Mandisa Thomas, and I am your host for the show. In the Cut is a production of Black Non-Believers Incorporated, which is a 501c3 organization. Headquartered in the Atlanta area, we connect with other Blacks and allies who are living free of religion and might otherwise be shunned by family and friends by providing a caring, friendly, and informative community. Instead of accepting dogma, we determine truth and morality through reason and evidence. And the mission of Black non-believers is to provide secular fellowship, nurture and support non-believers in coming out, which is also known as open identification, encourage pride in non-religious identities, educate the public on the history and current state of non-belief in the Black community, and organize events for charitable causes. BN, as always, welcomes all regardless of age, gender identity, sexual identity, national origin, or racial identity. However, our content and our work prioritizes Black non-religious voices. Before we get into our special guests for today, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who tuned in to our Labor Day show, which was live at DragonCon, which featured Leanne Lord on her birthday, which was also my birthday weekend. There is still time to support my birthday fundraiser. You can do so through the various links there. There is a specific Facebook donate link. You can also donate via Cashapp. You can always donate via our website through PayPal. There's also the PayPal Giving Fund, which allows for anonymous contributions if you would like to choose that option. And we also accept workplace charitable contributions. The notable exception for that is the combined federal campaign. We're still working on that. And again, your donations support our ability to do this show, run the platform, our operations, our funding for other organizations, our scholarships, which we will be announcing the recipient of this year's Hurston Scholarship very soon. And again, it matters because of the representation. It matters because Black non-believers is still the only Black secular organization that engages people so intimately and in a way that we provide that safe space for people, that safe space to grow, to really deconstruct those religious beliefs, and to find a network of folks who truly do care and who really care about helping each other grow. So that is always going to be at the core of our mission. We love seeing everyone at DragonCon this year. If you have joined us from there, we hope to continue. We hope you will subscribe to our channel, like this video, share it, and let's continue to move forward. I do have a personal reflection that I would like to share as well. The other day, I was in the store and I was stopped by a gentleman who, first he said I had like the best haircut he ever seen, which I appreciated that. And he also said that if I was older, he would have asked me to dinner. And I thought that was so cute. But when I told him that I had just turned 47, he did a double take. And it was so interesting to actually see the reaction on his face when I told him that I was 47. And sometimes I feel like I feel like I am aging backwards, because it seems like the older I get, the younger I may look, which is kind of flattering. But at the same time, he also said that my eyes sparkled when I smiled. And I really was feeling good that day. Just for no particular reason, but that it was a good day. And I say this because there are times as atheists and humanists and agnostics, there are people who may judge us when we say, when we reveal our identity. However, it doesn't always, when people just see us, they may not know, they may not know that at that part of us, because we like to actually kind of show who we are by what we do, and how we come across to others. And the one thing that really, what I really got from that is, you just never know who is paying attention. You never know who's watching. You never know what you might be giving off to people, whether it is good or bad. And, this past year has been a lesson in understanding what we might be giving off, either negatively or positively. But being able to rejoice in the fact that when people see positivity in you, that it radiates and it shines. And I think that that is a good way for our humanism to shine within us, and it passes on to others. It doesn't necessarily mean that people see all the same things in us, but uh, just in how we are, as people, is really what determines someone's humanism and humanity for me. And I realize that it determines my humanity for other people. And I really appreciated that. And I mean, I have a tendency to be flattered by comments. I probably shouldn't be, but I think it's good. It's nice to, first of all, it's nice to compliment each other, every chance we get, because we get so busy. And then with the pandemic, things have just become almost sort of like non-personable, in our lives. And so it's really good to get back to that. And just as I reflect on getting older in age, and for my 47th birthday, and how I will continue to grow as an individual, as well as trying to continue to grow the organization with my team, which who I really appreciate. I appreciate y'all dearly. This was just a really, really good reflection for me as I continue to refine myself, and really just taking in the good that, if my humanity is showing and it radiates with other people, then I certainly can continue that, and just to move forward. So I just wanted to share that, because if we just never know who is paying attention to us, and if it helps our day, and if it helps us to help other people, then I think it's important for us to continue to do that, as often and as much as we can. So that was just my personal reflection, as I continue to reflect on this birthday month, which I feel like I'm still celebrating for the entire month of September. So please celebrate with me. Please continue to support BN's work. Again, we really, really do appreciate it, and we appreciate you tuning into the show. So now we are going to get into the interview, where I will introduce. It's my pleasure to welcome our special guest today, Nnenna Onwukwe. Nnenna, whose pronouns are they and them, is the communications associate for the Secular Coalition for America. Nnenna is a creative aficionado with a background in nonprofit content management. As a DC native, they have firsthand knowledge about how vital progressive campaigns and community activism are. Nnenna is also a strong advocate for LGBTQIA plus women, the LGBTQ plus IA, the community, women, and non-theist rights. Nnenna enjoys baking gluten-free treats, rock climbing in local gyms, trying out strategic board games, exploring local museum exhibits, and traveling the world. Please welcome to the show. It is a pleasure to have you.
Hello. Hi, Mandisa. Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us today. As we ask all of our special guests,
Mhm.
please do share your background, your religious upbringing, and how you came to your current position.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in DC. Um, my name is Nigerian. My family is Nigerian. So I had Nigerian parents and a strong Nigerian community surrounding me. And if you are Nigerian, or if you know at least like the older generation of Nigerians, you know that a lot of Nigerians can be strongly religious. And so that was a lot of my background, growing up in a strong religious community, Catholic, um, and going to Catholic school in DC, um, which was from like third grade to college. And through that time, I just always had doubts about what I was hearing at church. I would read the Bible because I was so bored during church, and I would just, question everything. I've always been a really curious person. I've always been someone who questions and wants to understand and wants, deeper knowledge of things. And going to church and reading and hearing, the pastor or the preacher uh, preach about, what I should be doing and sins and things like that, and just realizing that it didn't resonate with me, and that um, the more I went to school and the more I learned as well in Catholic schools, that what I was hearing just like wasn't resonating. So I had that throughout my whole life. Um, and sometime during high school, I think my freshman year in high school, I was listening and reading and during class, and I realized, what, I just don't believe in this. And so that was a strong uh, understanding at that age. It was really hard at the time because I've been raised in such a religious background. Um, and I'd been going to church and church programs, and a lot of my community was in the church. And so I think realizing that and then telling friends and family was a really, difficult thing to do. I think a lot of us can resonate with that too, is that it can be really difficult to understand it within yourselves and then tell that to a community that's, that religion is who they are pretty much. Um, and that was the case for my family. It's the case for a lot of Black atheists that I know as well. People that are Nigerian and African, and people that aren't. I mean, it's uh, you go to church and you talk to people that are Nigerian American or Nigerian, and a lot of times, some phrases they say are like "go with God" or just little things like that, where they're always thinking of God in their life. And for me, it was just a completely different reality. Um, so I think that has always been a big part of my life. I have always been passionate about, yeah, just from my own personal life, I've always been passionate about um, doing the right thing. I grew up in DC, so I was always really aligned with what's happening politically around me. As a kid, I was kind of over DC being known as like a political space. And then as I grew older, I became more understanding of politics and the severe impact they have on me and everyone around me and everyone I love and care about. And so I just became more involved with local politics, um, and, wider politics as well. Always made sure to vote and get everyone I knew to vote. And as I developed in my career, I realized that I want to do something that makes a difference. And so for a while, I was working at one nonprofit that was focused on LGBTQ plus Americans and people of color, and focused on work that they produce. But unfortunately, that nonprofit lost funding. And so I went on to do other things. But in my heart, I always knew I wanted to go back to working somewhere that made a difference and that was changing the lives of, everyone. And so when I heard about the Secular Coalition for America and the work that they're doing, I was like, this is it. Like, this is where I need to be. And I joined them in March of this year. So it's only been a couple months, but it feels like, the work we've been doing has been so amazing. It feels like I've been there, for so much longer, and it feels like it's where I meant to be. So it's really great.
Awesome. And sadly, the saga of nonprofits losing funding is
Mm.
often way too common,
Yeah.
as we well know.
Hmm.
And once again, just a huge, just sending my well wishes to everyone at the SCA on the passing of Woody Kaplan, who
Thank
was
you.
a
Yeah.
major part of the community. Thank you for
Hmm.
sharing that. And then I just have a follow-up question. So, growing up in
Hmm.
DC and then also having a very religious family, how was their reaction to you when you told them? Do your parents know? Um, how did they react? I mean, and how were the conversations after that?
It's mostly a non-reaction, I'd say. They know. My brother knows as well. My mom knows. My father's no longer with us, but they are well aware. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, that's just Nnenna. So they're aware of it. They just kind of, they don't talk about it. That's, yeah, where it is with um, my atheism.
Got it. That's an interesting space for a lot
Yeah.
of a lot of people. So I totally get it. So you were
Mhm.
saying that you found a secular coalition. How has working for the organization helped your understanding of public policy for non-religious Americans?
Oh, it's helped a bunch. I started in March, and in March, when my first week, they were doing their lobby day. They have it every year, mostly in March. We're having another one in March 2024. So if you're free, come on down to DC. But basically, for lobby day, we get people from all over the U.S., um, from each state, and they'll talk to their senators and people like legislative assistants who are at those offices, and we just tell them what the non-theist community is focused on. So at the time when we were speaking to them in March of this year, when I started, I got to join in on conversations with people on the Hill about how the Supreme Court is doing a lot of shady things. They're not being transparent about things. And so there was a bill by Senator Whitehouse, and we urged people on the Hill to look at that bill and to sponsor that bill because it was so important. The bill was for the Supreme Court transparency and recusal. So being transparent about their gifts that they were getting, their finances, and also recusing themselves if they had a conflict of interest in a case, which is basic things. Every judge does so on a lower level, on lower courts. And when we were working with them, like when I was there with them, it was so amazing to see the work that we were already doing. And then after we met on lobby day, a few weeks later, everyone was talking about the Supreme Court and Clarence Thomas, and how that article came out where it showed that he was getting a lot of gifts from um, major people that were associated with trials he had done. So it was amazing to see that things that we were talking about and meeting about on the Hill were being talked about at large and getting noticed. So that was just my first month at SCA, and so it was amazing to see. Okay, I'm here for a little bit, and I already can see the work and the impact that is happening from what we and what the community is doing. So just seeing that was so amazing. The other thing was when we were meeting, I think before we'd met in March for lobby day, there was the case with the coach who had prayed with his high school students, and the Supreme Court allowed that to happen. Well, they pretty much he was fired for that, and then the Supreme Court said the school had to reverse the decision. And since then, there's been so many more cases where the Supreme Court has gotten really flexible with the wording of religious freedom, and so they've allowed people that use their religious freedom to get away with a lot of things, like the case where the UPS driver, I believe, or USPS, wanted Sundays off, and was that the Supreme Court was they didn't quite grant it, but they were really lenient on that case as well. And so just seeing the cases that are coming now with even more frequency at the Supreme Court and at lower courts, where they're allowing people's religious freedom to dictate, that they can get away with discriminating against people. And so that's kind of where we are. And so, yeah, when I started just seeing that and seeing that, okay, this is really important, the work that we're doing, it's happening right now. And I think we are on the front lines of it. I think that was really impactful.
Awesome. That is amazing. And I don't think the Secular Coalition gets enough credit for the work that y'all do, because it is
Yeah, thank you.
really, really important for people, for those in our community, to know that there is an organization, and BN is still a very proud member of the Secular Coalition. We are a member organization, and we do like to let our members know that there is an organization that is keeping track of what is going on in DC, on Capitol Hill, and what we need to be mindful of, even in our respective areas. So, and I know the Secular Coalition was very instrumental in helping establish and grow the Congressional Free Thought Caucus.
Yes.
Have you had an opportunity to meet Representatives Huffman, Raskin, and other
Yeah.
members of the caucus?
Yeah, my very first week. First week
Nice.
there, that was during lobby day. They came and they spoke for a little bit at the lobby day function. So it was really cool to see people that were, on the Hill. I think a lot of people on the Congressional Free Thought Caucus, they're of all different religions. I can't remember. I think Huffman was one of them was Buddhist. And so just seeing that and seeing that they were devoted to keeping America a secular society was amazing, just from my first week, and meeting people, that were involved on the Hill and were pushing for the same things that we wanted was really impactful.
Yay, that is great. I love that
Yeah.
you got a chance. I think Huffman does identify as humanist, but I know that there are
Mm-hmm.
other members who are religious, or they're religiously progressive. So that is always great. So
Mm-hmm.
you do have a background in communications, and so
Mm-hmm.
in your expertise, what would a really good and successful campaign for the secular community look like?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I guess I've seen the work that the religious community is doing right now. They have religious extremists in America, Christian nationalists, have been working for decades pretty much to push their ideas. And so I think one good way to see what we should be doing is kind of looking at the other side in a weird way and seeing, okay, what do we need to push back against? What have they been doing? What have they been working on in the long term? And just like in the case of abortion in America, they've been working on that for decades, since abortion was passed, since before a lot of them were born. If you look at documents between Christian nationalists like lawmakers and even people in just random Americans in the community, they had uh, put money towards organizations that were fighting for um, banning abortions, and they had worked for years to make sure it happened. And when it happened, they celebrated. They were completely ecstatic because their long-term plan had worked. And so I think that we need to be. I mean, we have the numbers. We have people that are against Christian nationalists. The secular community is growing stronger every day. So I think working together and just pushing the fact that in order to stop religious extremists in America and to stop them pushing their agenda and laws that will impact every American. We just have to get out there and tell people, like urge people to vote is a big thing. Let people know the laws that are being passed as well. And uh, just kind of go on the opposite side of that, where the religious extremists have been working for decades to push these things. We need to be working on the same level, um, where we're also campaigning to push back against the terrible things they've been doing, and also put into law um, things like abortion rights. And yeah.
You are so. Do you think that, I mean, because it's interesting that we do need to look at what the religious right and the conservatives are doing, but
Mhm.
especially as a young person, are you? I'm not sure if you're Gen Z or millennial,
I am
but
millennial. My birthday is also
millennial.
coming up.
Okay.
I have a September birthday
Oh,
too, so
yay!
this is also my birthday month. When you
Yay!
mentioned that, I was like, oh
Awesome.
yes.
Yes. So when we because yeah, marketing with religious folks and with most communities can be impactful, but
Mhm.
um do you think that like using perhaps certain things that we like, because I tend to be like I tend to reference like pop culture a lot, like
Yeah.
within. Do you think that that's something that could be relatable in getting our message across, especially as we reach new people and as we
Mhm.
are engaging new demographics? Do you think that incorporating or like incorporating and changing messaging with the times, do you think that that would help?
Definitely. I think what I see is like my generation and the generation younger than me has been completely impacted by I mean, just what's been happening for religious extremists and like the religious right in America right now. They're extremely concerned. I mean, they have been raised as a generation that knows that the like climate change, for example, is impacting them and it's going to impact them as adults, and impact their children and their children's children. So they are extremely concerned about what's been happening, and they are extremely passionate about making sure that the world is a fair and just place, at least from what I've seen of my peers and younger generation. So I think reaching out to them, I think they're well aware. I think just getting them in the know, sometimes it can be hard to understand what's happening right now until it's kind of over. Um, or just getting them uh, in the know before laws go into effect is the most important thing. Is like, hey, like these are the things that Republicans, like the religious Republicans, are threatening, and religious right has been threatening. Let's make sure that this doesn't come to pass. And I think that slowly it's been happening. There's I don't know if you've heard of it, but Project 2025 has been a big thing I've been seeing on the internet more and more. It's the plan for the religious right and religious extremists to pretty much inundate the government with religion. I think one of the sentences in there is, making sure that the president considers God before um, putting forward any laws or putting forward any policies. And but all like similarly, all people on the Hill need to do the same. So it's a really worrisome thing. It's really great that people are talking about it. So things like that, where there is this thing that's happening that the religious right is threatening, but I think social media has, made this a really, it's gotten the word out and people are talking about it. And that's one of the most important things you can do for uh, younger generation is get people talking about it, make sure it's, on the word of every website, social media site, news site, so that they are well aware of it and are concerned and are making sure this doesn't happen. So that's a really good example that's happening right now as we speak.
Awesome. So I do have a question. You are a communications associate, which means you have to
Mhm.
pay a lot of attention to social media. Do
Yeah.
you ever get burned out by it?
You know what? Before I started SEA, I was extremely burned out. I would look at things happening in the headlines. I would be panicked. I mean, when abortions, when like the abortion ban went into effect, I was terrified of what direction our nation was going and things like that, where there's been so much push against trans people in America and removing LGBTQ content from schools and removing content about our history as Black Americans from schools as well and from libraries, um, and just kind of making sure the younger generation is growing up and not, I guess, just not being knowledgeable is what people who are pushing that is trying to do. And so when I was reading about that, I was kind of like, okay, well, what can I do as an individual person? I can share it with my small community. Most of them believe the same things, so that wasn't really impactful. I can make sure to go out and vote and encourage people to vote. But it felt like I was going against, this huge mountain, and I was just a small, a small ant or something. Um, and nowadays, I feel like the work that I'm doing is I see those headlines and I see what's happening, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to share it with people. I'm going to make sure the whole SCA community and people that aren't in the community know what's happening, and it's and know what they can do to help and who they can reach out to. So it's a lot better when I look at those articles. I can think, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do to make sure people know about it and make sure they know what they can do. So it's eased the anxiety, I'd say.
Wow, that's great. I mean, I can totally understand how you can get
Hmm.
burnt out by social media, what you're seeing in the news, and almost feeling like helpless, like you almost can't do anything about it. So
Yeah.
we definitely appreciate the work you're doing with the SCA. And final question, what
Mhm.
are some of your favorite gluten-free treats to make? And
Oh, okay.
what are
Well,
some that we should try?
I like cooking like traditional gluten-free food. So if I can, I'll get like sweet rice flour, anything mochi. So I can make a really good Hawaiian mochi cake. It's really easy. You just need sweet rice flour. It's delicious. It's great in parties. Um, a Hawaiian butter mochi cake is what it's called, and it's just coconut milk, um, sweet rice flour and eggs and thyme. And you have like a sweet, delicious, like chewy treat. I've also made like mochi brownies. One time I made a Japanese cheesecake that was somehow gluten free, which I was very proud of because it was a whole ordeal with like a water bath and but yeah, things like that, where I think traditional gluten free things and gluten free treats from I like exploring different nations through cooking. So I think when I can explore different, you know, nations and food culture just by baking, it's really exciting.
Awesome. So I imagine that like the holidays can get really fun for
Oh
you.
yeah, I'm making so many pies for Thanksgiving. My mom has the same allergy, so I am the designated baker. I make a
Nice.
gluten-free pie and mac and cheese, which turns out pretty good, I'd
Ooh.
say. Even for
Oh,
people
that's
that eat real mac and cheese, they enjoy it.
that is very interesting. And it's
Mhm.
amazing how cooking now has evolved over time, because at one point it was hard to find delicious,
Oh my gosh.
food that,
Yeah.
that didn't have all the things that people couldn't eat.
Yeah.
So it is really, really good to see that changing. And as a diabetic myself,
Hmm.
it is just, I have to, you have to find creative ways to have some, to enjoy foods. So
Exactly.
I absolutely love that. So yeah, that's awesome. That
Yeah.
yeah, that we definitely should have you share some more recipes,
Oh,
or something
definitely.
like that in the near future. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for being our guest today, Nnenna.
Of course.
It
Thank
was
you.
really, really good to, to hear from you. And all, as always, best wishes over there at the Secular Coalition. I'm sure we'll be seeing each other soon. I will be seeing you for a lobby day next year.
Yes.
And I definitely will be encouraging the BN community to sign up for lobby day as well. So thank you once again for being a
Thank you
part
so
of the
much.
show today. Thank you. If you'd like to connect with Nnenna more, her LinkedIn has been shared in the chat. And also, please do visit the website for the Secular Coalition for America and do support their work. They really, really are our eyes and ears in Washington, D.C., on Capitol Hill. They pay attention to all of those, a lot of the bills and everything that is going on, and encourage us to take action as a community. And political action isn't always about voting for candidates. It is about exercising your civic duties as Americans and making your voice heard, and making our voices heard as a community. So once again, please do support the work of the Secular Coalition for America. So now here we are at the point in the show where we do announce our upcoming events. And for September, we have quite a bit going on. Actually, if you are in Chicago, then you might already be at the Coffee and Conversation with Cynthia and crew at Chef Sarah's Cafe. That started at noon. It actually started at 11 Central Time. So hopefully you were able to join them today. If not, then hopefully you will join them next time. Tomorrow in Detroit is a brunch and talk at Public House with Kelly and the Detroit affiliate, the Metro Detroit affiliate. That takes place at 12 noon Eastern time. The link will be shared in the chat if you are in the Metro Detroit area. I think there is a reservation, but please do try to arrive on or before time so that y'all can be seated promptly. And in Philadelphia, there is going to be BN and Coffee at Mattis Coffee Roasters at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So the link that link will be shared in the chat as well. Please do join our Philly affiliate. And both of these events are taking place tomorrow. So please do join Detroit and Philadelphia for their events if you are in those areas. On September 30th in Atlanta, we will be doing a hangout at the Starlight Drive-In Movie Theater at 7 p.m. Eastern. We haven't done this one in a while. We usually get together earlier before the feature starts. We will vote on said feature a few days before the event. You can bring your favorite food or beverage item. Yes, alcohol. You can, if you do drink, you can bring your favorite alcoholic beverage to share with folks, just to have a good time and hang out before we see a movie. That link will also be shared in the chat. And also, we are a sponsor for Team Racing Productions Art All Night event, which will take place September 30th in the Washington, D.C. area. If you are a BN member in the area and you would like to attend this event, please get in touch with us because they are looking for volunteers still. So if you'd like to support this wonderful event along with us, Team Racine is very, very much an advocate for the LGBTQ plus community, as we are. So please join us in supporting their event. So yeah, if you are in that area, or if you will be traveling there on September 30th, at the end of September, please do let us know so that we can get you as a part of this event. On October 20th, we are collaborating along with the local chapter of the Satanic Temple on a Halloween extravaganza. More information will be posted about that soon. The tickets are $20 in advance. And it'll be $20 pretty much all throughout the night. But more information about purchasing your ticket will be available very soon. So please mark your calendar. There's still time to travel to Atlanta that night for this event. So please do please do keep an eye out for that. And we are still currently seeking new board members for BN. If you are enthusiastic and dedicated and you like to have fun while working, please do apply. We will be getting back to those who have completed the form very shortly. So please keep an eye out for that as well. The Godless Gospel Music Project is still looking for singers, particularly tenors and altos. This is a paid opportunity. This is part of the Freedom from Religion Foundation. We are getting ready for a performance with the Freedom from Religion Foundation's convention next month. So if you like to sing and you like gospel and you don't want all of the religious aspect to be a part of that, then please be a part of Godless Gospel with me, Cynthia McDonald, Candace Gorham, and others. And as always, we will keep you posted on social media and on upcoming shows about updates and things that we have coming up. And also, if you are looking for a great gift to give at any given time of the year, pick up a copy of Name Dropping, which was created by previous guest and now board member Deanna Williams and her best friend Jesus Reyna. Name Dropping is the frustratingly fun movie trivia card game. Click on the link in the chat to purchase. And this will wrap up In the Cut for today. We hope you enjoyed the show and that you will join us again. Thank you to those who tune in every first and third Saturday, which is when we air. We really appreciate your support. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and spread the word. As always, you can find BN on social media, first and foremost at our website at BlackNonbelievers.org. You can follow us on Facebook at Black Nonbelievers, Instagram at BNonbelievers Inc., and X, formerly known as Twitter, at BNonbelievers. The B and the N are capitalized. Once again, we encourage you to subscribe to us on YouTube. Please watch previous content, watch previous episodes of In the Cut. Let's get those viewing hours up so that we can get our channel monetized, and you can send us super chats during our live broadcasts, and we would always appreciate that. And of course, you do find your local be an affiliate on Meetup or join all of them, because we still do virtual events in addition to in person. We are always on the lookout for new affiliate leaders and coordinators. So there is a volunteer form on our website if you are interested in volunteering with us. So please do join our fantastic team, especially as we build back better. It has been wonderful to work with the folks here now. And of course, learn more and make your tax-deductible donation to Black Nonbelievers via our donate link. And if you want to represent BN even more, you can get your swag. We have t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, shot glasses, and more on our online store. So take care, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.